Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to cover the biggest mistakes to avoid making while playing Lords of the Fallen. This game is amazing, and like all Soulsborne type games, it can be one of the most fun experiences of your life while also being one of the most frustrating. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the biggest mistakes and how to avoid making them to minimize your frustration and maximize your fun. I'm also going to give you the fastest early XP leveling spot in the game. Alright, the first mistake to avoid making when upgrading your hero is going beyond 75 of your damage stats, so strength, agility, radiance, and inferno. Don't take those past 75. That's a cap where you really don't get anything beyond that. For endurance and vitality, it's not really worth going past 40. The game lets you, but because of diminishing returns, you don't really get anything for doing so. Now, before we continue, let me take a second to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Opera GX. It took Sam and Frodo the whole trilogy to bring peace and safety to Middle-earth, but you can bring control back to your PC in a few clicks. To enhance the performance on your PC when gaming with your browser open and to get rid of lag while playing games and listening to music. Perfect for when you want to keep a bunch of tabs open and not lose them, which is all the time, let's be real, because if you have fewer than 3 tabs open right now, you might be a sociopath, but you might also not be, so I digress. This panel prevents those tabs from hurting your gaming performance by limiting the RAM that they can use. Here you can see I have Chrome and Opera open with the same number of tabs, and Opera is using half the RAM that Chrome is. Insane. Opera GX offers a ton of customization, which can be overwhelming. Fortunately, that's where GX mods come in. Head to the GX store, grab a mod for free, and get a browser customized perfectly for you in a single click. Here you have the Medieval GX mod, which gives you a medieval game theme for your browser, which not only changes the wallpaper and the color of your browser, but it's got custom sound effects for background music, individual opening and closing tab sounds, on hover sound effects, click sound effects, even a keyboard sound effect if you want it. Now, if you want the theme without all the sounds, they've got you covered. You can uncheck a few boxes and get the same awesome vibe with no noise. If this mod isn't your style, then you can browse tons more to find the perfect one for you. Switching mods is a pain, but don't worry, Opera makes it easy by allowing you to import all of your settings from your previous browser, like browsing history, bookmarks, and cookies. And don't worry, Opera is compatible with every Chrome extension. And if you download Opera GX using my link below, you can use GX Corner to see my last 12 videos. Just click the cog and make sure you have the Lucky Ghost channel toggled on. This page is also awesome for seeing what games are launching this month, as well as what free games you can check out. So use my link below to download Opera GX today. Thanks for listening. Now let's get back to the video. The first mistake to avoid making is falling for this trap right here. See this little orange collectible? Well, that tail is moving a lot. It's got a lot of back and forth momentum there. Typically, it would be much more vertical and much more still. That means this one's a trap. So if we go ahead and pick this up, bad things happen to us. And these are located all over the game. The devs really liked putting these things everywhere. So until you pick up that telltale sign, see what I did there? You can fall for that quite often. So for comparison, here's this one. See how much more straight it is? Much less movement, much more vertical tail. This one is not a trap. The other one was. And just be aware of the fact that if you go and you rest and then you come back, that trap will move. It'll be in a different location. So just remember, the wiggly tails are bad, the still tails are good. All right, the next mistake we're going to go over has to do with the lamp that we're going to be carrying on our hip throughout this game. You're going to use this lamp to peek into the umbral world and see what's happening there. And as you see there, there's an enemy right there. He's on the umbral side of the world. Now, the mistake to avoid making is getting hit by an enemy in the umbral world, which is really easy to do while you're playing the game, looking around, looking for that way forward that you can't find right now. The reason you want to avoid getting hit is because if they hit you, they will pull you into the umbral realm. Now, this isn't the end of the world. This is fine. You know, the umbral realm is your second life. So now that you're here, you no longer have a second life. Normally, if you die in the real world, then you are going to come to the umbral realm and you get your second chance to redeem yourself. And then there's 2 ways to get out of here. You can either interact with one of these right here, and it says emerge from umbral, or you can go to a bonfire, or as this game calls it, a vestige, and you can rest. And by doing either of those things, it's going to send you back to the axiom, which is the living realm or the normal realm. While we're here, the gauge on the right there is going to be filling up. There's an eyeball, it's blinking, and as we kill things and as we spend time in here, that's going to fill and fill, and you'll eventually see 1 eyeball down next to it, 2 eyeballs next to it, and then finally you're going to see that multiplier crank all the way up to 3.0, and and it's going to turn red. And at this point, unless you are really high level, you're probably dead. It's quite fatal to accidentally let that get all the way to the 3.0 multiplier and let it turn red. So really, you want to try avoid doing that. Now, if it does happen that you spend a little too long in Umbral and it does turn red, your mentality should probably be to prepare for death. By that, I mean, head to an area that's going to be easy to retrieve your souls, or as this game calls it, your vigor, right? You're going to want to die in a place that's easy to get back to. So don't go run deeper when it turns red. You may want to start running back to the shrine so you can die kind of close to that vestige or that bonfire and get your souls back when you die, because you're probably going to die. All right, this next one has to do with the temporary bonfires or the temporary vestiges in this game. When you are playing, you'll eventually run into a spot like this here. You'll see these flowers on the ground. See how my lamp in the bottom right is going nuts, and it's telling me, hey, you could do something here. What we can do here is use one of the currency. I have 4 of them, which means I can create 4 of these, and it's a temporary bonfire. It's a temporary vestige that we can place here to teleport to and from, or rest, or upgrade our character, right? Whatever we need to do. And these are sometimes located a lot closer to a very difficult encounter than the permanent vestiges or the permanent bonfires, right? This game calls bonfires vestiges, just so that you know what I mean when I refer to vestiges in the future. So sometimes the game kind of leaves it up to you to use one of those to really greatly cut down on the run back to maybe a boss fight that you see yourself wiping on quite a few times, or maybe you've wandered really deep into a new zone, but you haven't found the vestige yet. You haven't found that bonfire, right? And you do find one of these, and so you may want to consider throwing up a temporary bonfire just so that if you die, you don't have to go all the way back to that last vestige you touched. Now, you will find enough of these vestige seeds to create these almost as often as you need them, so feel free to use them fairly liberally. That's okay. And also there's NPCs that will sell them to you if you do find yourself needing more than you're finding. So, don't be afraid to use them. The next huge mistake to avoid making is forgetting to soulflay bosses that you kill. By soulflaying them, you're going to get the materials needed to exchange to get their weapons and their armor. So you'll kill a boss, and then after you soulflay their corpse or whatever they leave behind here, you're going to get the item that you can trade in for their weapons and for their armor. And if you have any questions about the process of how to do anything that I say in this game, be sure to check out my complete beginner guide for this game. I'll link it down in the description below. Check that out if you have any questions after you watch this one, because I go into everything in great detail in that video. So the bosses will leave something like this behind, and you soulflay it like this. And by doing this, a sequence is going to play out. It's basically a bit of lore. And after that sequence finishes, it's going to give you your reward for killing that boss. You'll find these out in the world, not attached to bosses. And that's going to give you various rewards as well, currency, things like that you need for building out your character in this game. By far, the most important ones are going to be the ones that are right after the boss. And it's easy to miss it. If you somehow kill a boss and you're not in that umbral state, if you're not using that second life, it's very easy to miss the ghost standing behind. So just make sure you come into the umbral realm after you kill a boss and use your soul siphon on it and get those rewards. All right, this next one is going to be familiar for any of you Souls players out there, and that is going to be talk to NPCs until you exhaust all of their dialogue. So anytime you talk to an NPC, if you talk to them enough, they'll eventually start repeating themselves. That's when you know you've exhausted all their dialogue, and by doing that, you'll almost always unlock a shop of some sort. So be sure to talk to them until there's nothing left to say, and by doing that, maybe they'll eventually end up in your hub here, or if they're already here, they'll have a shop, things you can buy and stuff like that. Some of the things you need from these characters are pretty important, like keys to get into places and stuff like that. So definitely exhaust those dialogue options with these characters. And also sometimes they'll have items you can turn into them that you found along your way. So, check in with them probably every time you clear a zone or so. Probably a good rule of thumb. All right, this next one has to do with withered health. We'll quickly go over this just in case you didn't know already. When you have part of your health bar grayed out, that means it's withered. It means you're going to lose it if the enemy hits you before you hit them. So you can get it back a piece at a time by hitting the enemy. So I'll hit him and I got it a little bit back. Hit him again, got a little bit more. As long as he doesn't hit me, then I can get it all back. Nope. We can give it back by letting him pound us. But as long as you don't get hit while your health is withered, you can get all of that withered health back. No problem. Okay, sometimes after you knock an enemy off the edge, their soul will appear on the edge. And sometimes it'll even be floating in the air, like off the ledge, where it's really hard to get to it. And it's very dangerous, especially like if enemies might be shooting you and knocking you off. You never know. All you have to do is pull out your lamp and then you can siphon them in like that. And it sucks them into you. has pretty good range. So, you know, no need to risk your life by walking out onto the edge. Just pull the lamp out, suck it in real quick, and you're good to go. All right, the next mistake to avoid making is attacking enemies with a parasite on them without killing the parasite first. A lot of times that will mean that they can't really take any damage at all, or if they do, they get healed really fast. So if we lock onto this enemy here, we see his health bar is blue. What that means is he has a parasite. You can also see blue tether kind of in the middle of his body there, kind of hinting that there's a parasite tethered to him. Sometimes you'll see that first. What you do is you pull out your lamp, and now we can see the parasite there. See, there it is, making him pretty much unkillable. So what you do is you just use your siphon ability, the same one we used to collect the soul that was hard to get to, and boom. Now the parasite's dead and we can kill this guy. The next mistake to avoid making is ignoring like the roots slash the moths slash the butterflies. So while you're playing the game, there will be roots, there will be butterflies, there will be moths, and they all mean, hey, pay attention. There's something here. They're little subtle hints. So right here, we got a combination of roots on the ground and moths in the air. And if we bolt the lamp, boom, we can see that there's a little bridge here. Now, you cannot jump while you're holding the lamp, right? If I get hit by an enemy, the lamp will disappear and I will fall possibly to my death from this height. I can't clear this jump, right? So I would actually have to enter the umbral, but we did find it by pulling the lamp out. It shows us. And sometimes you can even walk all the way over it without actually committing to going to the umbral realm. In this case, we would have to make that commitment. But all that to say, these roots like this on the ground, those are usually a big tell. And moths and butterflies, bright blue butterflies. If you see any of those things, it's time to pull out that lamp. Also, if you're using a controller, your controller is going to vibrate when you're near some key points of interest as far as the umbral realm goes. So don't ignore that. These are the blue butterflies I'm talking about, by the way. If you see those, then you're probably going to have to go to umbral and soul flay the ghosts that are there. And by doing that, you're going to get some materials from them and a little bit of lore. Now, this next one is really important, but also if you're a Soulsborne fan, you already know this. You're going to need to upgrade your flask, or in this game, it's called the Sanguinarex. So just make sure you swing by this lady every once in a while and check to make sure that you are not able to upgrade your lamp. You see there, if we talk to her, it says we need Saintly Quintessence. You will find this actually by soul flaying ghosts that you find out in the wilderness a lot of times. So make sure you soul flay those ghosts strapped to the walls and stuff like that. The next huge mistake to avoid making is forgetting to like this video and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be putting out a ton of Lords of the Fallen content, as well as any future Soulsborne game that comes out, or Souls-like, as it happens this time. So make sure to hit that like button if you're enjoying the video, and subscribe for more content like this. The next huge mistake to avoid making also has to do with your sanctuary, and that is don't miss out on the blacksmith. The blacksmith is really missable. It's probably the most missable important thing that I've seen in a game so far. I have seen a lot of content creators miss it. I missed it myself at first on my first playthrough. I was running around and I got deep and I was like, man, I know there's a blacksmith, but I have not run into it yet. And I've been so thorough. It's real easy to miss. If you're not sure where it is, I'll put a link down in the description to a video that shows you how to get the blacksmith, which vestige to teleport to, and the path that you need to run to find the blacksmith, because you're going to need that blacksmith. Upgrading your weapons is insanely important. Another huge mistake to avoid making is forgetting to go into the umbral realm here. You see the moths and there's an NPC. Don't forget to talk to that NPC. He has got things that you can socket into your lamp to make you even stronger, and very easy to miss, and also really important that you take advantage of that. Likewise, don't forget to go into the umbral realm while you're in your base. There's some NPCs in here, you know, and some puzzles. Just saying, not going to spoil anything, but do check them out. Make sure to go into the umbral realm and solve puzzles and find the NPCs and talk to them. Another huge mistake to avoid making is thinking that opening the menu is going to pause the game. It doesn't. Actually, you can come in here and you're still moving, and so are your enemies. However, if you open this up and then hit your left joystick, you come into photo mode. And here it does pause the game. Enemies will be frozen, you're frozen. So if you need to step away from your game for a second, but you're not in the safest area, you know, you can just open up the menu and then go into photo mode and it'll pause it. You can also use this to kind of peek around corners too. Just saying. Another huge mistake to avoid making is thinking that your souls or your vigor are gone when you die. If you run back and they're not there anymore, don't worry, they're not gone. It's just that one of the enemies in the area picked them up. So you'll see that they're glowing a little bit blue, and you kill them to get your souls back. You'll have to retrieve them that way. The next huge mistake to avoid making is being heavy. It does feel pretty awful in this game to let your encumbrance be in the heavy range. As a result of being heavy encumbrance, your dodges are going to be really small. Right now, see, we get a lot of range with the dodge roll, with the dodge, and that's going to be great for getting out of a boss's attacks as they spin around with their giant weapon going all over the place. It just makes it so much easier. If you're playing the game and if you've got all this heavy armor on and you're doing the fat roll thing, go ahead and give it a try in either medium or light. I think you'll be amazed how much easier it is to avoid damage and kill your boss when you're covering that extra distance with your rolls. The next huge mistake to avoid making is not rolling through boxes in this game. There's a lot of rewards tucked behind or inside of them, so you'll clear them by rolling through them. Oh, there's one right there. And you'll notice that you'll find little rewards inside. So definitely worth rolling through those boxes in this game in case you were wondering. Also, a lot of times an enemy will be hidden behind them that would try to push you off the ledge. And so you can kind of just avoid that trap by rolling through them instead of walking around them like that. They love to position these guys so that you're walking on this little thin plank right here and the guy pushes you from the side and knocks you out. So don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall for it. All right, the next huge mistake to avoid is not knowing when to maybe just grab some levels. So it's real easy to level up in this game. If you go find a boss and you're stuck, or if you've got a trash pack that's beating your butt, all you got to do to get a ton of levels real fast is head to the bell room here. So what you do to get levels really fast is you just run right by this guy here. He's going to see that and take offense to it. You just turn. He's going to run off. Maybe knock that guy off. Get those souls right there. You get like, and then if you want, you can also grab these 2 blue balls there and then reset. Now, each time you do that, you're going to get about 700 vigor, which is absolutely insane for the time it takes. You do it in just a matter of seconds. So if the game's a little bit difficult, if you feel like you're stuck, or if you just need some extra vigor to upgrade a weapon or to upgrade your character, swing by this place. Do this for 5 to 10 minutes and you'll get yourself quite a few levels out of it. All right, the next huge mistake to avoid making is losing your withered health. And it's actually really easy to make sure that you never lose it. Well, let's not say never, right? But it's real easy to avoid it mostly. So let's go to Umbral. Now half of our health is withered. And what we're going to do is we're just going to throw an item at this guy. Boom. There's some of my health back. There's some of it back. Oh, he withered me again. Now my health's back, right? Never was I once in danger of actually getting hit before I hit the enemy because I was just throwing things at them. So use throwables. They're actually really, really amazing in this game, and they refill for free. So you can see there I've used about half of my ammo. That's what that gray bar is. And if we rest, it's going to be filled automatically for us. There you go. So use those throwables. Just make sure that you don't have a bunch of throwables equipped that you're not using. So if you're only going to use one, only slot 1 because these do have a weight to them. So this has an item weight of 2. And if that's going to be pushing your encumbrance into the next weight level, so if you're going from light to medium or medium to heavy because of these throwables, make sure to unequip them if you're not using them. Lastly, sometimes you're going to wander into an area that your character is just not ready for, and it's not always easy to know if you've wandered into an area where the mobs are just way higher level than you. So one way to be alerted to that fact is when you hit an enemy, there's going to be a damage number over their head. Now, when I hit those guys, the damage numbers were red. That signified that I did a lot of damage to them. Largely probably because I'm way over leveled for this location. Now, if you go into an area where the enemies are way higher level than you, you're likely going to see gray numbers popping up when you're hitting them. So just keep an eye out for those gray numbers. And if you start seeing gray numbers on the enemies and it feels like you're taking a beating, you're probably just somewhere you're not supposed to be at. You need to go get some levels, go level up your weapon, and then head back to that area. All right, the next huge mistake I'm going to talk about is a little bit of a side quest spoiler. So if you don't want to know the outcome of a side quest before you participate in it yourself, maybe pause the video and check out one of the other Lords of the Fallen videos I have linked in the description. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the side quest has to do with the blacksmith. The blacksmith is going to give you a bit of a side quest where you have to collect 3 items and bring them back to her. When you collect the 3rd one and bring it back, you're going to be given the option to give it to the blacksmith or to give it to this guy and free him. If you free him, you'll never get the incredible incredible item that the blacksmith gives you. And also, the blacksmith's prices are going to go up. They're going to double. So everything from her is going to double, which sucks because you can buy weapon upgrade materials for her, even some pretty high level ones. So that feels bad, right? So you may not want that. And the rune that she gives you for giving it to her is going to remove the requirements from a weapon. So it'll remove the weight and the attribute requirements so that you can wear it much easier. So really, really amazing rune to have and to take advantage of. And if you decide to give it to this guy and free him in spite of all of that, what you get is at any vestige, you'll be able to change your runes on the fly. So not really a worthwhile trade-off. Unless your conscience is just eating at you and you really want to free the guy. And let me know down in the comments below if you found any other really cool side quest rewards. All right, guys, that wraps up the huge mistakes to avoid making in Lords of the Fallen. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you guys. If you have any other tips to pass on to new players or veterans alike, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. If you guys give me some good ones, I'll probably toss it in the next video. If you're itching to learn more about this game, be sure to check out my complete beginner guide as well as my other Lords of the Fallen videos that I'll be posting here throughout this week. If you haven't yet, be sure to check out the sponsor of this video, linked in the description and the pinned comment below. Massive shout out to my channel members. If you want to become a member of this channel, be sure to click the join button below for behind the scenes footage, have your name appear at the end of every video, and more. If you're not sure what to do next, maybe check out one of the videos popping up on screen right now.